The world's richest man was wearing a security guard uniform and came to inspect his own airline company. But as soon as he boarded the plane, a flight attendant misunderstood him, thinking a mere security guard had no right to sit in first class. She said this while trying to kick the man out. Luckily, the Secretary General arrived just in time to stop the misunderstanding. Soon, the plane took off. The chief purser came out of the cabin to assign duties, but unexpectedly, she was being watched by a lewd man. He thought the chief purser was beautiful and started having bad intentions, so he began causing her trouble. The man nearby couldn't bear to watch anymore, so he stepped in to help the woman. But the other man threatened him, claiming to be the airline's general manager. He warned him that if he interfered again, he'd bear the consequences. Unexpectedly, the very next second he received a call from the group headquarters. The caller said the general manager had offended the richest man. The HR department had decided to fire him, but the general manager didn't believe it. He thought the man had conspired with scammers to deceive him. He said this as he prepared to teach him a lesson. But right at that moment, the plane began to shake violently. Soon, the captain's voice came over the intercom. It turned out the plane had encountered a thunderstorm during flight. Nearby airports could no longer be reached safely, so the captain decided to make an emergency landing. When the general manager learned that emergency landings were almost as dangerous as crashes, he became extremely afraid. He thought his life was more valuable than anyone else's on the plane. So he ordered the woman to inform the captain that a safe landing spot had to be found. Seeing how shameless the general manager was, the man finally spoke up. To save everyone on board, he told the woman he knew a place where the plane could land safely. So the woman took him to the captain. The man told the captain there was a racetrack up ahead, and the track could safely support a plane landing. But before the captain could respond, the general manager claimed the man was being ridiculous. After all, racetracks weren't designed for airplanes to land on. In a panic, the general manager tried to seize the controls. Fortunately, the man pushed him away in time. Then, after the co-pilot investigated, he found out the racetrack could indeed support a safe landing. So the captain accepted the man's suggestion. But the general manager still didn't believe it. He thought a runway without a control tower could never ensure a safe landing. Seeing his disbelief, the man revealed that he was the richest man in the world. He stated bluntly that the racetrack belonged to him. Upon hearing this, the general manager thought he was bragging. He thought a security guard couldn't even afford a race car tire in a lifetime of work. And now he was boasting about owning assets all over the world. But the man ignored him. He simply picked up the phone and told his men at the racetrack to turn on the lights so the plane could land safely with visual guidance. And just like that, with the man's help, the plane landed safely. The captain was extremely grateful and thanked the man. Without him, the plane couldn't have landed safely. But the manager nearby wasn't grateful at all. He believed the man had ruined his good plans on the plane. He said outright that if the man didn't kneel and apologize, he would not let him leave the plane alive. After saying that, he left. Unexpectedly, when the man really walked off the plane, the general manager was already waiting outside with a group of men. Upon seeing the man, he ordered his men to break the man's legs. He said he would take full responsibility for whatever happened. Fortunately, at the critical moment, the general manager's uncle showed up and stopped the farce. He even slapped the general manager. But the clueless general manager was still speaking ill of the man, until he heard his uncle say that because of his nonsense, he had been fired. Only then did the general manager realize that the man had been telling the truth. It turned out he really was the richest man in the world. Then, under the Secretary General's scolding, his uncle took the general manager away. And just like that, the matter was perfectly resolved. Just as the man was about to leave, the woman who didn't know the truth stopped him. First, she thanked the man for what happened on the plane. Then she asked him to pretend to be her boyfriend to deal with her family. The man was stunned when he heard this. After all, they had a 20-year age gap. Why would the woman choose him to pretend to be her boyfriend? After hearing her explanation, the man instantly understood. It turned out the woman was a rich heiress. Because there were no boys in her family, her father wanted to find a live-in son-in-law for her, but she didn't want to get married so hastily. So she wanted the man to pretend to be her boyfriend to fool her father. The man thought it was very interesting and agreed. So the next day, the woman came with her best friends to find the man. But as soon as they entered the room, the man was nowhere to be seen. Then the woman called him. Unexpectedly, his ringtone came from under the car. While everyone was puzzled, the man suddenly came out from under the car. This action made everyone think he was a pervert. They thought he was trying to peek under the woman's skirt. They ignored all of the man's explanations and said they'd take him to the police station. Only then did the woman realize it was him. She awkwardly introduced him to her best friends, saying the man was her boyfriend. Everyone was shocked when they heard that. Why would a wealthy heiress choose a car mechanic as her boyfriend? To avoid suspicion, the woman explained that the man was a multimillionaire engineer. But as soon as she said that, her friends objected loudly. They disliked the man for being old and thought a mechanic didn't deserve her. Seeing the woman getting angry, they finally stopped. But since it was the man's first visit to her home, shouldn't he bring a gift? After hearing this from the woman's friend, the man immediately had his assistant send gifts. Then he handed them out to the woman and her friends. Coincidentally, the bag matched one her friends already had. She instantly claimed the man was trying to fool them with a fake. After all, it was a global limited edition. Only 4 existed in the world, and now there were 5. So she concluded the man's was definitely fake. The man immediately explained that his secretary had just flown it in from Chanel's headquarters this morning. It couldn't be fake. Seeing no one believed him, he called the designer. After hearing the situation, the designer confirmed the friend's bag was fake. Hearing someone had slandered her, the friend immediately stepped forward to verify. But the appearance of the person on the call terrified her. It turned out to be Karl Lagerfeld, Chanel's chief designer.